diving into a story, and it's a big one, like $100 billion big. And no, it's not some superhero movie budget or anything. We're talking about something way more important, way more powerful. Those tiny brains that are like in everything you know. I'm talking about semiconductors, the things that make your smartphone work, AI, all that stuff. Hit that like button, subscribe, because we are going deep on this one. Definitely. Like factories to like the whole global. This is going to be wild. All right, so let's get you up to speed. Our main player here is TSMC. Raybrum. They're the Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing company, and let me tell you, they're like the kings of chip making. They make the chips that power all the big names, Apple, Qualcomm, you name it. But here's the thing, most of their stuff is made in Taiwan. And Taiwan, well, that's an island with some, complicated stuff going on around it. So imagine everyone's surprised when TSMC drops this bomb. They're investing $100 billion. You heard that right. $100 billion into making chips right here in the US over the next 4 years. And get this, that's on top of another $65 billion they already promised for Arizona. Something big is definitely going down. This isn't just about some tech upgrade. This is about like a whole global power shift. You see, for decades, the U.S. has been washing as manufacturing went overseas. But now everyone's like, wait a minute. Democrats, Republicans, they all want those jobs back here, especially for something as important as semiconductors. Now, President Trump, he saw this whole thing for like a national security lens. He thought his tough talk on tariffs for imported chips, well, he thought that's what pushed TSMC to make this move. He wanted the U.S. to be like, independent, not relying on other countries for this crucial stuff. President Biden, he's coming at it from a different angle, but he's also totally on board with making chips here. He even gave the green light for an extra $6.6 billion for TSMC's Arizona setup. It just goes to show you how important this is. Everyone's in agreement. And U.S. leaders, they're getting nervous about all the chip production being concentrated in Taiwan. They see it as a weak point, strategically. So they want to spread things out, have more options with the U.S. in a strong position. But hold on, what does this mega investment actually mean for you and me? Well, first of all, get ready for a ton of new jobs. We're talking thousands of positions, opening up everything from construction workers building those fancy factories to all the engineers and tech people who'll be running them. And it's not just about jobs. The economic impact of this can be massive. This could totally change the U.S. semiconductor industry, give it a bigger piece of the global trade pie. Some people even think it would make the U.S. dollar stronger by tying it to, real high-tech assets. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Big financial players like JP Morgan and HSBC, they're doing some pretty slick moves. We're talking about gold and chip market arbitrage. They're basically using gold, which is like a super safe investment, to finance their bets on the chip market. It's like they're saying, hey, we see big potential here. This is the future. All this financial maneuvering, it just shows you how interconnected everything is globally and how a move like TSMC's investment can cause ripples way beyond just the tech world. It's not just about chips changing hands. This is about a whole economic power shift happening right before our eyes. TSMC's $100 billion investment, this isn't just some random event. It's a sign of a world that's changing fast. Supply chains are being rethought, countries are fighting to be on top in these crucial industries, and things are going to get interesting. But in all this talk about economics and the global power plays, there's this other angle that's super important, the tech angle, and specifically AI. Artificial intelligence is like changing everything, healthcare, transportation, you name it. And it totally depends on these advanced chips. As AI gets bigger, that dependence is just going to grow. So think about it. What happens when the country that's leading the AI race also controls the chips that make it all possible? It's a pretty big question. Now let's talk about what makes these TSMC chips so special. We're not talking about just any old semiconductor. These are like the Ferraris of chips, the most advanced ones out there. They can handle all those crazy computations that AI needs, high performance computing, all the cutting edge stuff. And the way they're built, it's mind-blowing. I mean, they're packing billions of transistors onto these tiny slivers of silicon. We're talking like smaller than your fingernail. And in TSMC, they basically perfected this art. They're pushing the limits of how small and how powerful these chips can be. And that's why everyone wants them. And it's not just about raw power either. TSMC's US factories, they're probably going to focus on making the specific types of chips that are super important for certain industries, especially the ones that are tied to national security and, keeping the US ahead in tech. So think AI chips for the military, high-performance computing chips for science and research, and specialized chips for all the essential stuff that keeps the country running. It's all about making sure the U.S. have a reliable supply of these crucial chips, the ones that are going to shape the future, but not having to rely on other countries for these things and making sure America stays on top in the industries of tomorrow. But let's get back to those financial moves we were talking about. Remember how JP Morgan and HSBC are playing the gold and chip market arbitrage game? That tells us a lot about what's happening in the bigger economic picture. So arbitrage, what is basically, it's about taking advantage of price differences in different markets. And this case, these banks are buying gold, which is like the ultimate safe bet, and then using that to invest in the chip market, which is booming right now. It's like they're saying, hey, we think the semiconductor thing was really a good bet. It's going to keep growing for a long time. And this whole financial dance just shows how everything is connected globally. When something like TSMC's investment happens, it sends ripples through all these different markets, not just tech. We're not just watching chips move around. We're watching a whole economic power shift. So will this massive investment lead to some kind of tech renaissance in the U.S.? Will it be like a golden age of innovation? Or will we run into some roadblocks along the way? I mean, the potential is definitely there. We could see a huge surge in manufacturing here at home, a boost for new ideas, and a much stronger position for the U.S. in the global tech scene. But there's no guarantee of success. The U.S. is going to need to make sure it has enough skilled workers, attract the best minds, and create an environment where semiconductor research and development can thrive. It's complicated. There are a lot of pieces to this puzzle, and we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. This deep dive has taken us from the nitty-gritty of chip making to the high-stakes world of global economics and geopolitics. We've looked at the reasons behind this $100 billion move, what it means for the future, and all the uncertainties that come with it. If you're enjoying this journey with us, hit that like button and subscribe to stay tuned as we keep following this story, because it's far from over. But as we wrap up this whole deep dive, this is one last question that kind of sticks with you. How is this whole investment thing, how's it going to impact the future of AI and like the global competition in that field? Just imagine for a second a world where the US is not only like the best at developing AI, but it also controls a huge chunk of the chips that AI needs to actually work. That kind of scenario could totally change the whole AI landscape globally, like everything from research to actually using AI technology. So will this just mean that all the power ends up with US companies and institutions? Or will it be more like everyone working together, sharing new ideas, and spreading the benefits of AI around? Nobody really knows for sure, but one thing's for certain. This $100 billion move by TSMC, it's like a starting pistol. It's pushing the US to the front of the line when it comes to semiconductors and all the amazing things they make possible. This is a story that's going to have a huge impact, and it's just getting started. So if this deep dive has like gotten your brain buzzing, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out as we keep exploring this crazy world of technology, finance, and all the global power plays. Until next time, keep those questions coming, keep learning, and remember the future, it's being built one tiny semiconductor at a time.